Hi everyone. Now, basically just got asked the other day there, do I have any good Midge Pupa patterns? Because it has been a while since I've actually filmed one. It's not because there's not a lot to them. So I had a wee look. I've got a book of flies that I put together. I mean, it's just in wee sleeves. And this is one that goes a way back. I thought you may like to see. It's just one. I mean, I'll give you an idea how far it goes back. When I worked in a trout fishery and I left in 2006, I used this fly, but I tied it for friends who fished in competitions and so. But I caught it in the winter months with this fly. This fly. I used to put it in the dropper, fish it along the bank, and it consistently caught the hot spot. The fish did see it, obviously, but I could see it as well. That's what made it. It acted like a small sighter to us, and I could see it many a time getting taken, and especially along the edge. So it wasn't in deep water. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to tie it. It's reasonably simple to tie. Now we start off with a UTC thread, and as you can see, it's red. Now I had tied this with a fluorescent thread, but the red itself worked the best. So I'm going to basically catch the thread in, come down about the thorax length, and then remove it. Now the rib of the fly is a super stretch floss in black, so I like to catch it in the top, just slightly on the side in this case, and then stretch and work your thread down to the back of the hook, to there. Now I'm going to take away the waste. I always leave this wee extra length to stretch it, makes it easier to cut it away. Now I've got a silver tinsel. This is a number 14. Let's catch that on the bits. This is for the back. Catch it the full length of the body, which is there. And then we wind up. The underbody is the red thread, so. And the UTC is perfect. It just covers. It's nice and smooth. Ideal for flies like this. Just going to bring the back over, way up the top. 2 or 3 turns to hold, make sure it's level. Just checking, that's fine. Trim away your waste, just look like that. And then we want to turn on the back with the Flexi-Floss, or Super Stretch Floss. Flexi-Floss is the old name for it. And you want to rib the body. Now as I get near the top, I slightly loosen off, just to slightly thicken it. Let's just form some sort of taper, because we're going to obviously put a resin on this, I'll protect it. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to take thread up to the eye, trim away the waste. See what I like, that's fine. Now I'm going to put this is to show you, it's a Mirage, Opal Mirage. It's just a medium. Just going to catch this in. Now for the Wingbuds, I'm going to be using, this is this here, basically what it is, that I bought some white super stretch floss and I dyed it Sunburst. So to get the Sunburst colour, you best to dye it yourself. And this is going to be for the Wingbuds. So just fold the length about maybe an inch or so around the thread, and then bring it up underneath. And then just wind to the back. Right up to the floss. Let's check. That's fine. Now what I'm going to do here is make sure there's just a wee aiming point to the red thread at the back as well, and then continue up. I'm just going to change to it could be a UTC or a uni thread. This is just uni thread in 8O. Just going to darken the thorax area, and then wind it down. To say this fly was just, I'll give you an idea, when you're at the fishery and you're sitting and you've got a bad day. I would sit and tie flies again and just mess about. I got the day by, and if people turned up, they would sit and watch me tie. So I would come up with some ideas. Now, first thing I do is bring the the floss onto the top, come round with a turn, just make sure it's nice and neat, 3 or 4 turns, bring over your thorax cover, 2 or 3 turns, nice and tight. I mean, don't be shy with a head. I mean, Midge Pupa have got a pronounced thorax when they're due to hatch. So we just stretch these lengths away, stretch. Just tidying this up first. And then trim away the flash. Bit finish. I mean, it's basically not, it looks like a lot for a Midge Pupa. To be honest with you, sometimes it is kind of, but the only reason I kept a hold of it because it fished so well. And as I say, the original is just basically this. This one's quite thin, this one's got more pronounced thorax, but you'll get that when you're tying your fly. Now what you want to do is, I use acrylic red, this is fluorescent red. Just this one's Dale and Rooney or whatever they call them. It's what, as you can see, it's number 544. Now the red will look kind of pinky. It should be anyway because it's a fluorescent red, but it's more red when it's dry. So what we do is just get my dubbing needle. What I like to do is just get a good mix first. It's a wee bit thin, so mix it near the top. Obviously have a hanky nearby, and then just apply it to the top, just like a wee aiming point. You don't need much. Obviously you've got to allow that to dry. It doesn't take long. The acrylic paints are quite, they're kind of water based. They dry quite hard, so they do. Have a quick look to see what that's like. As I say, it's just a wee highlight. I did it in a few Midge Pupa, and I found whether it was for me or I mean, I've done it on the Wingbuds at the back as well. It certainly shows up big time, and as I say, just allow that to dry. Obviously, give you best to tie. I usually tie about six or so. And go back to the first one, and then I start to varnish them. So we'll give this a minute or two to dry. Okay, it looks like it's dry. It's shrunk a wee bit. You can see a couple of wee dimples on it, but that's fine. The resin will level that out. Now resin, just use whatever one you have. I use the Bug Bond, the light. I've used it for the start, the day it came out, and I'm happy with it. So you use whatever one you have. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a wee drop in the top first, just to highlight the top of the fly or the thorax. You can see how well that glows. And then, I mean, basically just a light coating all the way around. You could highlight the Wingbuds a wee bit if you want. Yeah, I don't like too much on. Yeah, just scrape it into the body and between the turns of the rib. All I'm doing when I'm rotating here is seeing where the resin's sitting. You want it just to slightly come onto the hook. This will help seal the back, stops any water penetrating underneath, because you know it's happened if the resin goes white. That's usually because it's lifted from the body. Now once you're happy with that, you can then set it all the way around. Basically that's it, and that's what I like to do with all resins. I've always done it, even with the old epoxy resins. They always left a slight residue on once they're dry. So to keep it nice and clear and shiny, I would varnish it. So they all say it's tack free. Well, I'm not saying they don't go tack free. If you leave it long enough, I would think it would eventually go tack free. But I don't have time to wait, so I like to coat it with varnish. Now I've got this is just vineyard varnish, just a clear vineyard varnish that I'm going to apply with the brush. Nice and quick. It will look like it's filled up the groove, or the grooves anyway, but once it dries it shrinks and you end up with a nicer or a better shape. Now I've got this my basic light on here just to let you see how the light, if you're looking at these flies you'll see how the light hits them, and I've got one of these studio lights here just below me that you can see how the light catches the back of this Midge Pupa, and that's how you see it when it's in the water or when the sun hits it. You get that lovely shine, just like you get this silhouette shape, this silver along the back, which represents the fine hair on the Midge Pupa. So you can see why it works. I mean, you see in the right sort of light conditions. At the same time, in a dull day, I mean, you've got the wee hot spot that kicks in at certain points. But as you can see, it's a nice Midge Pupa, and as I say, I always remember catching fish with it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and again, if you enjoy the videos and you haven't subscribed, please do. It does help. The channel it shows that it's working. People are happy enough. And like I said before, if you've got any questions, obviously just put them below the video, or any ideas. Just if you've got a fly you'd like to see tied, and if I've got the materials, I'll certainly look at it. I can't promise everything, but if I've got the stuff, I'll certainly look at tying it. So anyway. Again, thanks for watching. Until next time.